everybody. Oh, the hard rain woke me up a couple times last night out of a deep sleep. I usually, first thing in the morning, feed the little animals and I sit down with the Lord and I read and I take in my nourishment. Nice little cup of cold coffee. I like cold coffee. But I came to my channel this morning, and I mean, right off the bat, I came first thing. I didn't get in the Bible right away. I didn't feed the little animals right away. I came over here to my channel, and let's YouTube. And I was having a kind of a struggle finding and answering. I'm at 961 subscribers. This is really quite an experience for me. Like one I've never known, so I don't really know how to handle it. But I came to my comments, and I realized that I can sort by the newest. That way it would be easier if you made a comment that I would be able to answer it rather than find, anyway, there's been a lot of comments lately and I've never had this experience before. And I don't want to get to be like many people do, which is understandable, when they get 1,000 subscribers or 10,000 or 100,000 or 1,000,000 or whatever the deal, you can't possibly answer those people personally. You know, flap them a thumbs up or a whatever. But that's about the best you could do if you even can do it at all. It's just impossible to continue your own life without just answering comments. But I wanted to, I've always done this with my channel because, well, it was easier years ago when you get one comment a month to answer it properly. But I've wanted to answer these properly. You know, if you're nice enough to reach out to me, that's you reaching out to me. It's not you hitting a button and it shits out something that says to me. It's you. I should be kind enough and human enough to reach back to you. So that's what I wanted to do. And I've really enjoyed doing it. And what I've noticed is there's been some times when I look back at what I say to people, I need to have more respect for the person's comment, whether it's only a tiny few words or one word, or even a gesture, or a very deep one. There's a couple that puzzle me that I'd like to go over with you. Would you mind? It would kind of be nice and I want to answer one that just came in that I just got, and it's quite a comment. And I was thinking about stuff when I went out to feed the little animals this morning before the rains come. And I prayed the Lord's Prayer, looking up into the sky, the warm wind and the no rain at the moment. And I came in, I found this comment. Now, okay. Is this still sort by? No. Newest. Apply. Okay. Okay. Now, the very top one I've got is from a new fellow, but that I've never known, this human being. Much love, my fellow NY. Well, that's if you have played Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, those are parts of it that we all internalized as we've played the game. They do have an effect on you. Well, they obviously do, or we wouldn't blame them. But I thought to myself, that's really quite interesting. So I went to his channel and subscribed. I've subscribed to every single one of your channels. If you go and look, if I've answered your comment, I've also subscribed to your channel to help you grow. I mean, we're working hand in glove here, and I'm having a good time. But you know what else I can do? I can come back at some point to your channel and watch what you produce. And that gives me, instead of the algorithm of YouTube, uh, giving me all this bullshit. I mean, I go to my normal viewing screen and what is this horse shit? I don't want to see this crap. I mean, I got to dig through for a long time to find one thing that I would deem worthy to watch. And I'm sure you're the same way lately. The algorithm, it gives you a bunch of oddball shit. If you by accident even look at some video, I'm off the beaten path. You already know. Instead of it being like it was back in 2005, it was a nice platform with very few ads, and you could do it was really, really nice. And then it went apeshit when it got big. But welcome to the reality. So, much love, my fellow Anwa, 44 minutes ago. And it's 4:35 a.m., last day of March. Then we have the next one says, why walk when you can ride? That's another line from Elder Scrolls. And that was really cool. And I answered that at 3:30. And then we come down a little bit. And Single Racer thanks me for the songs and makes a nice comment. And then he answers me back, and I want to read this to you. I hope Michael won't mind. God bless you, Michael, the Single Racer SVR. Go subscribe to his channel, guys. He doesn't do much anymore, but anyway, what he did do is still up there. And he has a style that I just loved. I mean, he really, really, really had a great style of doing a settle corso and other things. But just, it's a shame that I can't go and see new stuff, but I can always go and watch the old stuff back. So listen to what he says. Those videos featuring the real Squonky, which was a little tiny chipmunk, you can see them on my playlists, were some of the most uplifting videos in your vast collection, Humble. But the video where it suddenly hit you that you had to let Squonky go for his own good was still one of the saddest I've ever watched on YouTube. All right? Well, I took time to answer him. I don't see my reply in here because my reply didn't go to him. No, well, I typed out a great big beautiful reply to him and it's not here. You figure that out. But anyway, I went down to the next one. It says, come there of our friend or trader come. And that's okay too, because that's part of the Elder Scrolls lore. And then I come down to one that says, why all the lunatic Christian stuff? And that's, I understand where a person's coming from. I understand where you're coming from. I would have felt that way too, until I was 17 years old. I was very antagonistic against Christians and Christian things. I didn't want any part of it. I honestly thought that it was just a great big shell game. Or like what the university professors would tell you. It is the opiate of the masses. It's just for weak people to have a crutch to go through life. Or others would say, well, all religions are the same. Well, what the natural mind, the mind you're born with when you come into the world, that natural mind is able to perceive certain things. But it's like this. I honestly think that every one of us, as we are children, have a more open mind, and it only becomes closed as we're hurt or disappointed, because pain is a very nasty thing, whether it's emotional pain or it's physical pain or, you know, disappointment pain. Right? All of us, to some degree, are selfish. Well, how could we not be? We are alive and we are aware of our own self, and you like nice things, and you like to be happy. And like my friend Jackie says, I live for the laughs. Yeah, I know I like to laugh too. I used to love to laugh. Um, Believe me or not, I will get, this won't be long. Why all the lunatic Christian stuff? Well, because when I was 15, going on 16, and I was very, very, very antagonistic against Christian stuff. I didn't believe it, any of it, none of it, none of it. And deep down inside, because I had been hurt so many times, I was a very bitter, I was an angry person, I was a hateful person, I was a sadistic person, I was cruel to animals, I was a very, very nasty human being. And it was doing nothing but getting worse. If I was dragged to church by my dad and his second wife and the stepchildren, which was a plastic family, I was never really accepted into it. I just was a plastic, like a plastic Jesus on the dashboard. When the till went, they passed the plate, I grabbed money out rather than put money in. Or I'd break wind while they're singing. Just a complete asshole, really. But I had a friend, or a family of friends, that were Jehovah's Witnesses. I didn't know anything about it, and they didn't seem like the other Christians at all. They were just different somehow. But we laughed, we had fun, we did shit. But his parents hated my guts because I came from a divorced family. So I was tainted by a family that couldn't stay together. And I was such a wicked, wild child, I can well understand they wouldn't want their children near me, whether they were Jehovah's Witnesses or whether they were just to have any religion to anybody at all, at any time. I really wasn't a good influence. Douglas and I were putting dog turds in a bag with an M80 and put it in the neighbor's mailbox. And we just, if I could think of it back in those days, I did it. It just, laugh till we couldn't get off the floor, but at somebody else's expense. Always at somebody else's expense. Stealing Christmas lights in the wintertime, just a dick, just a cosmic dick. But it got to the point, as it does with evil people, it waxes worse and worse and worse and worse. It doesn't stay at the same level of evil. It always accelerates to the next deeper level of evil, where your mind becomes hard, your heart becomes hard, and the devil finds a nice little puppet that he can operate. And then you can end up doing some things like Sandy Hook or other stuff, because he demands blood. He demands slaughter. He demands the middle finger to anything that's God. Now, I know we all want to pretend that doesn't exist. We all want to just go through life pretending there is no evil, there is no good, there is no God. We can do anything we want to, and nothing comes of it. Douglas pestered the shit out of me, him and Brad, about God and this and that, and I just poo-pooed it. My hair was long, which was another reason that his parents didn't want me to have anything to do with me. It ain't long now. Well, maybe it is. In any event, one day when I was in an extremely pissed off mood, I was 16 maybe. No, I was just about 16. It was winter time, but almost spring. I was in a rage. Something had happened, and I put my fist up to the sky, and I said, God, if you're real, reveal yourself to me. And I think I threw my 22 down in the snow, and I was just a complete wild man. I walked home and I didn't think anything of it. Okay? In the due process of time, against my mother's wishes, my dad had me work at his tool shop, Davis Tool and Gauge. He was a tool maker, and I was an apprentice tool maker, sorta. I was sweeping the floors and running up to 6 machines at a time, eventually getting paid for one at $2.50 an hour. So it takes forever to make any decent money after they take the taxes out of you, which I loathed. I went nuts when I saw what little amount I got out of that. But I worked all summer and bought a 90cc Kawasaki, a 1991, and I was absolutely, I loved it. And then I got my license eventually for the 90. I had a motorcycle license before I had a car license, a long time before. But it was on that motorcycle that one nice warm spring day, I woke up in the attic at my mother's, and I had this deep down internal feeling that I was going to have an accident. So doing what a fucking retarded kid does, instead of stay home, well, I don't believe in God anyway, so what's the matter? I took my reel-to-reel tape recorder, which was good size, like a boombox size, and it ran on batteries, and it had a microphone. I put it in my pack. I put the pack on my back. I had sneakers, a pair of shorts. I might have had a shirt, and I might not have had a shirt. You know how brilliant teenagers are. And I went and got my friend Daniel White. He got on the back. We were going to go carp fishing. So we started down Newell Street. I got the reel-to-reel running. I think he was wearing it at that time. I'm you know, as kids do, they drive very slow and methodical like their mothers. No, they go fucking ape shit. I'm flying down Newell Street. I see a car coming, and a dog's chasing the car. All right? No brain, just right hand. When I got next to the car, the dog ran in front of me. I hit the dog goes between the front wheel and the muffler. We hit the ground. I lose skin off the elbows, both hands almost down to the fucking cords. All right? Instantly. Incredible pain. It's bleeding like a bastard. Oh, this sucked. Every dog in the neighborhood, and it's fucking gone nuts. I had it all on the recording. Then when you go to the hospital, you know how they clean them? With a wire brush. Motherfucker! The pain is absolutely off the fucking charts. Okay? Well, even a degenerate mind, void of anything to do with God, sits there healing, looking at his fucking hands ripped to shreds, and a little tiny light goes on deep down inside. I don't know why it's these horrible things that give you an opportunity to come to Christ. But I thought about that. I thought, how would it be that I had such an idea that that was going to happen, and it did? That's very curious. That was supernatural. Yeah, it was. So what happens? So what happens is after I heal up on that same 90, later in the summer, towards August or so, me and Doug Ramsey, the Jehovah's Witness, go out to Three Rivers fishing for carp. I don't know if you know much about the faith of the Jehovah's Witnesses, or what they're taught, or what they believe. Um, but they don't believe in anything supernatural. And if they are encountered supernatural, they flip the fuck out big time. Well, go down to the edge of the river, and I can see these huge carp. They're huge. They look like seals coming up next to the edge of the water. And I didn't know you could take a handful of corn and throw it out and wait. And then when you start feeding, you put corn on your hook and you can catch them no sweat. I thought I had to put a big ass treble hook on the end of my Zebco. We were poor as fuck. And get out, climb out on a limb and try to snag the fuckers, you know. That's the way I figured to do it. Yeah, old Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal Davis. So, and I have zero patience, zero. I mean, none. There was no patience whatsoever to me. And I would get frustrated quickly, and I'd fly off the handle and become a complete asshole. I see this carp coming, and I'm ready. A boat goes by, and the waves fuck my vision up, and I'm irritated. Where'd he go? Next thing you know, here he comes again. Right under me. What the fuck? Another boat. The carp takes off. And I go, I hope your fucking propeller falls off. What the fuck? Guy goes back, he lifts the back up, and fucking propeller was gone. Doug goes, fuck you. You're demonic. You take me home right away. Don't you ever do anything like that again. You are demonic. I said, what the fuck? You're mad at me. I heard what you said, and look what happened. All right, I'll take you home. Fuck it. All right. Now, what do you make of that? Now, I'm starting to say, wait a minute. There's a pattern to this shit. There's a pattern to this. I don't understand the pattern, but there's a pattern. All right? Now, I get a 3-cylinder S2 Kawasaki to replace the 90, which was fucked up from hitting the dog. Oh, I told my mother, the reason that I hit the dog was I had a too small motorcycle. Con job. I need a bigger motorcycle with 3 cylinders so I can go faster and do wheelies and have a wonderful time and raise hell. Well, that's all well and good. But what do you do in the wintertime when your dad says, son, you're going to store that motorcycle down here in my tool shop so you don't get into trouble? And you say, fuck you, I am. I'm taking it to my mother's where I can ride it in the winter with no insurance and no registration whenever I want to. Well, sure, no plate on the back. I'm riding around from time to time. It took Nancy Abbott out on the back. We went all the way around the Nida Lake, and we had a wonderful time. That bike actually got me laid for the first time in my life. But that's neither here nor there. And then Douglas wants to go out on the bike one early spring day. I mean, early March. It was just barely enough open road you could go. So we took it out for a ride because he loved riding on the back of the motorcycle with me. He was a good rider. He would hang right on and go into the corners with you. And we had a lot of fun, you know. He was quite a great friend, great friend. Well, I had a funny feeling when I came home from that ride. A funny feeling. Don't take it out again today. Hour later, phone rings. Hey, my mother's gone to do chores. I'd walk up to your house. Can we go out again? Yeah, sure, Doug, no problem. A funny feeling. Get on the bike, and we see another motorcycle go down the road. It had a plate on the back. Whatever. Love to ride with other people. We're scooting along, having a good time. We make it out to Lafayette. The guy pulls into a parking lot. I pull in with him, and in comes a state trooper. That ever have your blood run cold? My blood ran cold. Now, all my hair, which is all down over my shoulders, is tucked up inside the helmet, which is probably not good for my scalp, but nevertheless. The cop checks out his insurance card and his registration. He's good to go. Walks over to my bike. He goes, "Where's your license plate, son?" I said, "I don't have one." I need you to sit in the car with me for a minute. I want to go over a couple of fine points of life with you. Oh, yes, sir. Go sit in the car. Son, I'm going to have to write you 2 tickets. You are? Yes. You don't have a registration. That's a ticket. But you don't have insurance, and that's a misdemeanor. A who? Judge Fields will be glad to explain it to you next Thursday when you see him at 7 o'clock. How are you going to get the bike home? Well, if you'd be kind enough to let me push it, I'll push it home from here. But you live in Syracuse and here in Lafayette. I said, well, I understand that, but please just let me push it home. All right. Remember, don't miss the court date. Yes, sir. He leaves. Fuck you. Man. I drove the son of a bitch home. Okay. I made it by the grace of God, but I made it. So my mother finds out that I have these tickets and she starts to cry because to any human being with a brain that actually fucking works, that means your bank account just took a serious hit. And due to the fact that she drove but didn't drive very much, meant that somebody maybe going to lose their license and not be able to help with the groceries or go to their fucking job, which helps with the groceries. I didn't know what to think. So I cut my hair off, figured if I look like an honest, good old human being, they'll just not worry about me being a hippie and give me a fucking talking to and we'll call it a day, give them $15 and away we go. I show up at court. Judge Fields wasn't obvious. Well, I was 17, so he was probably 65, 70 anyway. Decent looking guy. Didn't seem to be too gruff or mean. Funny, I remember his name to this day. He goes, well, Mr. Davis, young lad, he goes, it's going to be $250 for the no registration. And it's going to be $1,000 for the no insurance. And there's a very good chance when this reaches Albany that you're going to lose your license, son. Not just, it's going to be gone, as if you never had one. And you'll have to start from scratch again. But it might not happen. Okay. I was fucking bumming. I was bumming to a degree of you could hardly imagine. My mother, smoking cigarettes and her Corvair on the way home, does hardly say a word. I just get a job at the Kawasaki dealership in Brewerton. Burdick Sports Shop. Now this guy, he was a Christian. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't give a fuck what he was. I think I was about a week or 2 into my job as an assistance parts manager when a notice came in the mail. Mr. Davis, on such and such a day, your license has been revoked. It's gone. Shoe Leather Express, motherfucker. So I tell Dave Burdick, the owner of the Burdick Sports Shop, I won't have a way to get to work, Dave, because of what I did. Would you believe the man had a Bible on his table, on his desk at work? And he said, Georgie, he says, this is rough. Can I pray with you? Oh, fuck yeah. At this point, I was out, you could have used dog shit for salve and I would have accepted it at that point. I was hurting. So we sat down and he prayed something. Now remember, Doug Ramsey was kind of the guy that got me involved with this. In a way, I mean, life has many, many, many facets that all things work together for good to those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. Well, I didn't love the Lord back then. I didn't even know he existed. But I was called for his purpose. You remember that Doug Ramsey's family hated my guts. And not so much his mother, but his dad loathed me. Well, when Doug found out I was going to lose my license, but I still had a weekend before I lost my license. So why don't we tell his dad that we were going down to visit my uncle in Pennsylvania, because they came from Pennsylvania. He wanted to show me where he grew up as a child. And we'll take the motorcycle and we'll go down there, and we'll have a wonderful time in Pennsylvania, all right, for the weekend. Well, the chances of that were fucking zero personified with his dad. So what does Douglas do? And they do pray. They do have a similarity of reality as far as the Bible's concerned. So we walk up at his dad's. I can see this in my mind's eye as if it was filmed from in the room. His dad, I don't know if he was drunk or what, but he was sitting in the chair, maybe watching TV, or just sitting there. And Douglas comes up and he asks him, Dad, George wants me to go down to Pennsylvania to stay with his uncle for the weekend. Can I go? His dad looks at me. I go, what? And he stops for a minute. Yeah, all right. All right, you can go. Doug and I jumped up and down once we got out of his sight, jumping up. I couldn't fucking believe it. My uncle don't live in Pennsylvania. My uncle lives in California. So my mother would let me go anywhere. So I came home, we told her. I had that same pack that I had, we packed up what I think I had like $20 to buy. I didn't have shit. Are you kidding me? At $2.50 an hour, it takes forever to make any money. But I had a little bit. And Douglas, I think, had a little bit. And we take off down Route 81 South, and we get down to Cortland, and he wants to stop at McDonald's and get something to eat. We pull into McDonald's and got some. I remember that. I can still remember throwing the pickles and they stick on this guy's window of his car. I was a fucking dick. And laughed to beat hell, What a fuck up. I went to leave the place. My fucking clutch cable broke. Fuck that. We could get down there just shifting without the clutch. Well, once I got to the main street, I had to there was a car coming. Fuck that. Well, that car had to be a cop. It was an undercover cop. Bingy, the lights will go on. Pulls me over. He goes, you know why I'm pulling you over? I said, well, pretty good idea. He goes, yeah, it was a really stupid maneuver you just made. Why did you leap in front of my car? I said, my clutch cable broke. He goes, oh, you're using a machine that's not able to operate on the public highways and you think that's safe? Sit in my car. I go, I started to cry. I go, fuck it. I said, do you realize I'm going to lose my fucking license next week? I'm fucked. We're just out. This is my last few moments to ride the son of a bitch before I'm absolutely fucked. I've lost my license. He goes, holy shit. They didn't have computers back then. I don't know what the fuck they had, but he found out. He said, yeah, you're right. That license is toast. And if I can't write you any kind of a fucking violation without really putting a fuck to you in so many words. He didn't use those words, but I mean, that's what it meant. He said, well, let me tell you something. How much money you got? And I told him, he says, there's a Kawasaki dealership on your way to Pennsylvania. If you promise me you'll stop and get that clutch cable fixed, I'll let you go right now. I'll do it. And I thought, fuck you, I got on the bike and I went along. Douglas goes, are you going to stop and get the cable? I said, fuck him. No, I'm not. Fuck that. We don't have enough money as it is. He goes, George, let's do that. Let's do that. All right. All right, fuck it. So we go, and they would let us use the tools. They helped me do it. I'd never done one before. Get the clutch cable on, got it working, yay. By now, it's getting dark. I mean, not dark, but the day is far spent. Lo and behold, you get into Pennsylvania, we're scooting along, nowhere to stay. I didn't even have a real tent. It was a piece of plastic. We were going to sleep under the plastic in these pieces of shit sleeping bags that, they're made at Kmart. They're made for sleeping in the house, not under any duress. Lo and behold, we get into this little town, which I didn't until last year remember the name of, Elba. And I went past the street to the right next to a little wee church. And deep down inside me, something said, turn the bike around. It wasn't an audible voice. It was just an overwhelming sense of reality, turn the bike around. So I turned the bike around. We went up that street. I've told this story before, so it's going to be exactly the same. But for this fellow here, it's Merville Butts or Mr. Love Butts. Tweets their own. Mr. Love Butts. I didn't read that till just now. Well, be that as it may. Yeah. Why all the lunatic Christian stuff? You started it, buddy. So anyway, I stop at the first house. I knock, nobody. Stop at the second house, nobody. Come around the corner. There's a big house there with a barn down here. I start to walk to the house when a guy yells at me from the barn. I walk across the street down to the barn. I tell the guy my story. Tell him I'm going to lose my license. I just need a place to stay. Could I please stay in the barn? I figure sleep on some hay or some shit. Whatever. And he goes, well, I got to talk to my brother. I said, oh boy, 2 guys. I figured Mr. Love Butts or whatever the deal. I thought this isn't going to go well. I wasn't into that shit. I'm still not into that shit. To each their own, but I count me the fuck out. I'm not into that. I got hooked on pussy a long time ago. In any event, sure enough, they emerge from the barn and they both bow their heads and they're doing this shit. I think, oh fuck this. This just went to a new level. I could deal with them if they were a gang of, but I can't deal with Christians. Lo and behold, Douglas is laughing his balls off because he's from Pennsylvania. He knows about Mennonites and he knows about the Amish and all this. And just because he was a Jehovah's Witness don't mean he didn't know about the other Christian organizations down there. The guy says, sure enough, you can stay. Go get your stuff up in the house. My wife will be home soon. Oh, bless Jesus, the guy's not a... Sure enough, we go in there and the kids get off the school bus and we have dinner. And Douglas cooked hamburgers because he wanted to put Douglas to work. And I sat at the table and I tolerated grace. I tolerated him saying grace for the meal. I wasn't into it. I was like being a cat dragged backwards by the tail. I was not liking a fucking bit of this. It was nice the guy was giving me a break to stay at the house, but I really didn't give a fuck. I didn't want to hear this bullshit. At the end of dinner, he gets the King James Bible out. I go, fucking A, here we go. Oh. And deep down inside, I felt, just listen. That's all you got to do. Just listen. And I thought, you know what? It is reasonable. The dude just fed us. All right, I'll listen. So he starts at the beginning. He shows how God changed the name of Jacob to Israel. You ever hear of a place called Israel? Yeah. Then he went into Isaiah and showed me the prophecy of where a woman would have a child, but she wouldn't be pregnated by her husband. It would come from God. God would supernaturally cause this child to be born in her belly because she was chosen by God to bring forth the Nazarene, well, sort of. No, the Savior of mankind. So Jesus was born sinless because the sin is transferred from the father to the next in line all the way down. That's why you are born with sin, so was I. Because our fathers, we were not born of a woman's seed. We were born of a man's seed. And it's the man who carried the curse. So it's just like COVID. If one thing had COVID, you're gonna have it. It's not your fucking fault, but it's the truth that you got it. You know what I'm saying? So this was the deal. So the sin was passed down through the man, but Jesus wasn't born from a man. He was born from God, the only one there is. So it was God. And it says in the Bible that Jesus was born of the seed of a woman to bruise the head of the fucking serpent, all right? Lo and behold. So he grows up internally sinless, but absolutely a human being. He carried the authority of a human being, sinless, just like Adam had before the sin, all right? Well, you know the rest of the story about Jesus, or if you don't, all you got to do is open your heart. It's all you got to do is say, God, if you're real, reveal yourself to me.
Or you can flip him the bird, and I feel sorry for you.
Lo and behold, he's reading the Ten Commandments, and all of a sudden I have a deja vu, which I didn't even know they had a name, that I had been here before, I had done this before. When I looked out the window, it was pitch black, pitch black. There was no street lights, it was black, sackcloth black outside. Boom, I have this feeling that I've been there before, and Pastor Glenn looks up from the Bible and says, George, right now the Holy Spirit's calling you. That did it. I remembered the carp. I remembered the hitting the dog. I remembered those supernatural things. And I said, fuck it. This is another supernatural. This shit's real. As soon as I said, this shit's real, it was real to me. And he said, you got to admit that you're a sinner. Fuck yeah, I'm a sinner. I'm the worst son of a bitch ever born on the face of the fucking earth. I'm a complete asshole. I know that hell couldn't get hot enough for me. I said, what do I got to do? He says, do you believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God? I said, yes, I do. Do you believe that he shed his blood for the remission of sins of this entire planet? I said, yes, I do. He said, will you give your life to the Lord God and follow him the rest of your life? Yes, I will. He'll give you the power to do it, Georgie. He'll give you the Holy Spirit to dwell inside you. You'll be able to do things you've never done before. I said, I don't know anything about that, but sign me up. He said, pray this prayer after me. I said, yes, sir, I will. I bowed my head, I think for the first time in reality, and meant it. Remember, I'm going to lose my fucking license by next week. This shit's still looming over me. And I'm saying, do you suppose we could ask God to help me get my license back? He goes, one thing at a time. I said, yes, Father God, I am a sinner, and I'm asking that Jesus Christ blood that paid the sin debt for all humanity be applied to me also, and that I become a child of God. Thank you. My name was written in the Lamb's Book of Life at 17 years old. I became a staunch enemy of Satan and a staunch believer in God Almighty. Sealed, signed, and delivered at 17. And I hadn't had sex yet at that point. That came after I came home and got my license back. Yeah, but it cost $1,400 for this fucking lawyer. I had lost my license for, I think, 3 months, which means my job was kissed, but that gave me time to go drinking with the boys and chase pussy. It doesn't go away instantly. And I don't think it goes away. I don't know if it ever goes away. All I can tell you is this. I'm saved, but I'm not saved by my works. However, back to these comments, I realized that some of them I seem to favor over others. Now, I'm not a Democrat or that, we mark everybody, Sam didn't come to school for a whole year. We don't give a fuck. We can't afford to say that he failed. Fuck it, he just passed. You know, I'm not into that horse shit. Like men playing sports and women's sports, you know, and then they beat the living dog shit out of some poor little girl that is, she's trained for 3 years for the Olympics, and this prick sneaks in there with his dangling balls, and he pretends he's a woman. I wanted in the fucking ring with that prick. At 70, I would have kicked his fucking ass. Whatever the fuck that thing was, I'd have mopped the floor with it. Because I hate that bullshit. That is fucked up. So I'm not any, and I don't give a fuck if it offends you either, ass wipe. No offense. But, no, that, I just shit the bed right there. I better cut that out. See, I still have a very quick temper, and that's bad. That's bad. I cussed out a chatbot from FedEx yesterday to the point the fucking thing hung up on me. But I did it out by the road. I was loud as hell, and the neighbors heard me call it a fucking cocksucker. I said, will you shut the fuck up, you motherfucker, and listen? I ruined the whole day yesterday when I cussed out that fucking chatbot. I hate talking to fucking machines. Well, you better get ready for real AI, George, because it'll be talking back. And the Antichrist is going to put an idol, which you'll have to talk to this idol, and if the idol thinks you're an asshole, it'll kill you. You'll either worship Satan, you'll get the mark of the beast, or you'll fucking die. You know what? But Jesus said, I'm coming to fetch my people. You don't have to go through that bullshit. That's why all this lunatic Christian shit, so you don't have to take the mark of the beast, the thumb up the ass, and every other fucking thing you got coming, butt fucks, or whatever your name is. And I just probably lost another subscriber. But if you have a brain in your fucking head, you'll listen to what this is telling you. I'm not here flipping it a bird. I'm not here telling you that you're a dirty bastard. I'm telling you, if you don't receive Christ, you're fucked. How's that grabbing? All right, that's the end of the story. But it's real. If it wasn't real, I wouldn't be involved with it. If it wasn't real, you wouldn't hear the music come out of me that you hear. If it wasn't real, my channel wouldn't have blown up. I think that Brian from I'm Awake, Aren't You was praying for me, because I ain't never seen this single, just like, it might be just for you, Mr. Love Butts. It might be just for you. Maybe all this stuff has come to pass so that you will have the light come on. Why? This shit might actually be real. That's about as far as you got to get. And you ask God. I'll challenge yourself right here and now, Mr. Love Butts. Whatever. I'll challenge you. I don't give a fuck if you stick your finger up in the air and jump up and down with a feather up your ass. The truth of the matter is, oh, it's tough. See why I'm not a preacher? Just say, God, if you're real, reveal yourself to me. Hang your ass on. You're in for a treat. You're not going to challenge God without him coming into your life. I'll tell you what, I've been to the woodshed a few times for deliberate disobedience. Nobody can kick your ass like God can kick your ass. But I'll tell you one thing, he's merciful. If he knows it's going to take 17 lashes across the back, you won't get 18. You won't get 16 either, because it didn't do the job. You're going to get what it takes to straighten your fucking ass out. But then there's the warm arms around you, and there's the healing. This is real. This is real. And this whole thing is real. And there's no doubt in my mind that this video going up right now is going to be for some honest and good thing. If anybody's still watching it, because I know this isn't the warm, fuzzy stuff you get from just surface area videos. They're surface, and that's about as far as people like to get, because it gets uncomfortable anywhere else, and nobody wants to be uncomfortable. But sometimes I would rather be on, I'll put it this way. I was in the pickup truck with my Uncle George, who was suffering from dementia. He was driving the pickup truck in Northern California. We were coming down a long road that came to a T. There was no guardrail at the end of the T. But there was about 40 feet of gravel before you went off into fucking midair down cascading to the ocean, thousands of feet below. I'm watching him drive along, and I'm watching as we're coming to the T, and he ain't even beginning to slow down. He went straight off the fucking T, and I jumped. I grabbed the fucking wheel. What are you doing? He come out of it like he was coming out of a coma. Ah, fuck. I said, Uncle George, it's time, please, sit down in this seat and let me drive. Could we? Well, I guess so, Georgie. Why are you all worked up? He was asleep within seconds after he got there, and I went to a Mexican restaurant, and he was madder than a motherfucker that I didn't eat at home with him. Oh, enough. I hope somebody got something out of this. God bless every one of you. Oh, one last thing. Michael was telling about Little Squonky and how it broke my heart. If you'd be kind enough to go to my channel and go to playlists, let me show you. I'll show you right now quick, so it's easy. Pardon me, I feel something coming on.
Yep. Take that, Mr. Love Butts.
No. Oh my God. See, you can take I'm still a fucking asshole. What the hell? Oh, you gotta love it. Oh, okay. Speaking of loving it, let's go to my channel right here. My channel. Okay. See this? Check this out. Playlist. Boom. Right here. Squonky. You open it up and it'll take you through all the different ones. All right? You'll actually get to see Little Squonky. Look at her. See the bite marks in the poor little kid? Look at her breathing. Oh my God. See the little white spot on top of her head? You'll never see another chipmunk with a white spot on top of its head. There's only one other one. And it came the next Father's Day when I was crying up in my yard I made for my dad. And the Holy Spirit said to me, have you considered Lazarus? Look at a poor little wound in her side. The fucking weasel. But you know, the weasel was employed by God to go get the little animal for me, or I wouldn't have had her. See the white spot? I loved that little son of a bitch. I loved her. There's my Bible. See it? When it was new, without the kissing marks on it. Go watch this. Go watch this. But the one that, see, feeding her the milk and all, I loved the little bastard. I loved her. I had a rooster at the time too, but the thing would fuck squirrels. They'll fuck anything. They're the horniest sons of bitches on the planet. But that's for another day. Again, do me a favor and go to the playlist, which I just now fucked up. Right here. I only have like the shorts. Shit, I don't have to. Oh, there's my dad. There's my dad. My sister cursed him. Said he would die a lonely man, all alone. What a fucking... No offense, but she died of cancer 9 months after he did. He was dying of liver cancer right there. And these wonderful Christian girls came and kissed my dad. Are you fucking serious? We gotta go. We gotta go.